Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Whether you are new to my channel or an existing long-term viewer and subscriber, I thought I would create this video to hopefully finally, once and for all, explain what the hell is going on with a lot of the creative videos that I make that involve a plague doctor, or maybe that creepy mask. It was a character known as Deep One Dave, or the Arkham Sanitarium videos, or the universe that's somewhat called Rift World or Riftverse, however you want to call it. This video is based on some viewers that have asked if I could do a video like this, and I thought it was about time that I do something like this to kind of just give folks, or give you, a basic understanding of what's going on. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a summary, and then I'll go into some details, but this isn't going to be a comprehensive video where I break down like every character and things like that. I just want to give you a real basic, hopefully a short video that just, let you know what's up, so that you don't have to watch hundreds of hours of videos to get an idea what's going on. Now, first off, I know that the ideal way to tell a story or to have any kind of lore is either in the format of a book or a TV show or a cartoon or a movie, or maybe a website that goes into a lot of explanation and details. So here on YouTube and in the long videos that I create in the ASMR format that are meant to put folks to sleep, or at least, help them drift off and relax, is not the ideal way to tell a story or to have any kind of lore going on, all right? So I'm kind of aware of that. So it's kind of sad that I have to do a video to explain my own universe, right? But the upside is it's not so much of a story that's really going on from video to video that you really need to get caught up on. It's more of, I would say, a theme, an underlying theme. And what that is there is the Rift world, or the Riftverse, the universe that somewhat exists here on some of the videos. That's like the umbrella term. That's where a lot of the characters and those videos exist in. That's the universe. Now, there are some videos that I create that don't exist in that universe. I don't mean just the nature videos or the philosophical type of videos, but some of the creative videos I do, like Day in the Life of Brain, for example, or maybe Relax with Satan, might not necessarily be in that umbrella of the Riftverse. However, in other videos, I might make reference to those non-Rift World videos and somehow tie them in anyway. So that's the main universe, okay? Riftverse, Rift World, it's not really set in stone, okay? Now, within that is Arkham Sanitarium, all right? And Arkham Sanitarium is a fictional place, and where most of the characters reside. The Plague Doctor, Deep One Dave, Professor Clemens, Margaret, and a lot of them. Now, there are some characters like the Candyman and the Snack Man and some others that will visit Arkham Sanitarium, but they don't reside in Arkham Sanitarium. They reside in the Rift World, the Riftverse, the universe, in a separate place altogether, okay? So that's the two places, or the main universe and then the Arkham Sanitarium, the two main worlds, I guess you would say, that occur or that I dabble in, that take place. To summarize what's going on, basically when you watch a video, you are either a patient at Arkham Sanitarium, or you have somehow arranged to meet with one of the other characters at another location. When it comes to the Arkham Sanitarium videos, you are a resident patient. Now, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, because I know when you probably hear sanitarium, you think, mental hospital, crazy, things like that. And that's not what's being implied. Basically, you have escaped the horrors and the stresses of the real world, so to speak, and have found sanctuary at this place called Arkham Sanitarium that has a lot of unique characters, and some of them may not have your best interest in mind. So it's a little bit of horror, a little bit of comedy, and a lot of absurdity, okay? The doctors there and all the staff, they perform all these treatments on you, sometimes experimental treatments where they might take a body part from you, a human being, and mix it with a creature from another fictional universe that I've tied in, or just who knows what. Something from H.P. Lovecraft, maybe you'll have tentacles, or who knows what it might be. Of course, it's never anything visual that happens in the videos, but it's more just for you to think about as hints are dropped to these different things that occur. So as a resident patient of Arkham Sanitarium, you have access to a lot of great things. All right, there's Arkham Sanitarium, and I've kind of expanded it over the last year by dropping hints to it, and I think I might have said this on my website. There's Arkham Sanitarium. It's like a resort, okay? You have the facility where all the patients reside in, like a typical sanitarium, okay? But not everybody's crazy, okay? Don't just think it's a nut house, all right? It's not like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Sure, there might be some folks like that, some residents like that, but not everyone, okay? So you have Arkham Sanitarium, but it's like a resort, okay? Within the sanitarium, there's a pool on one of the floors, okay? There's an entertainment center, there's a cafeteria, there's vending machines in the hallways that you can get your favorite snacks from. But outside of the sanitarium, well, behind it, there is Margaret's garden. Margaret is one of the characters, the white mask, the creepy lady, okay, that I get dressed up as and I voice, just for the record. All right, so she has her garden. In her garden is where patients will get buried, okay? So there's a little bit of some euphemism at play there in regards to Margaret's garden, okay? But it's an actual thing, all right? But in her garden, there are patients and there are body parts that she grows and all kinds of crazy stuff, okay? And then behind the sanitarium or on the grounds, there's a amusement park, okay? There's a hotel. So if you want to visit Arkham Sanitarium, or maybe you have a patient who's resident at the sanitarium, you can stay at the Arkham Sanitarium Hotel, okay? And enjoy all the different aspects, all right? And then behind all that is the woods, the creek, and all that. So that I've included that into the universe so that when I go out into the woods, I've done some videos, some nature videos with some characters in them. I don't do those too often because when you go out into the real world, sound is out of your control and it's planes overhead. It's very difficult, not to mention passersby and things like that. So, but the woods that I visit near me, Ridley Creek State Park is what it's called, I've incorporated into some of the videos. For all intents and purposes, there is also a natural piece of land left. And then all kinds of folks will come and go and visit the sanitarium, like the Candyman. He will come and visit and supply folks with the candy. But the sanitarium is where a lot of the characters reside. The repairman, Deep One Dave, of course, the Plague Doctor, Professor Clemens, Margaret, Satan will sometimes drop by, and so on and so forth. Now, there are some characters that interact with Arkham Sanitarium, like the Kidnapper. He doesn't reside in Arkham Sanitarium. He lives somewhere not too far from it in the fictional town of Arkham, or maybe Innsmouth. Not really known for sure. But, he would be within the Kidnapper would exist within the Riftverse, but wouldn't exist within Arkham Sanitarium. So now just to explain a little bit about the treatment sessions that go on, basically in exchange for you living for the rest of your life very happy and content at Arkham Sanitarium, you're subject to being experimented on or having treatment sessions performed. Now, what happens is that Arkham Sanitarium, as of late, I have added the new twist where it's a living, sentient creature. I don't really know how, okay? Not really like a haunted house, but somehow like a normal building, yet with organic material, maybe cybernetic. I really haven't fleshed that out, okay? But a lot of what goes on is very ambiguous, okay? So a lot is left up to you, the viewer, to kind of fill in the blanks and what might take place and go on and how things really are. That's kind of what I like about a lot of stories and movies where they don't tell every single detail and they leave some things up for you to think about, fantasize about. That's what I love about H.P. Lovecraft's writing. You know, he didn't really go into a lot of great detail. He just created these really short, powerful, horrific stories and left a lot up to your imagination to fill in the blanks in some things. So I like that aspect. And there's some video games and some movies and books that will do that. So that's a big influence for me. And besides the ambiguity, being ambiguous, and not going into great detail here, especially with the nature of these long videos that I do, these ASMR type videos, I mean, I can't really go into a big script and for an hour and expect someone to pay attention who's trying to fall asleep. So that kind of ambiguity helps in regards to the types of videos that I do, you know, and you don't really need to know so much. And that's what the point of this video is, just to give you a basic idea of what's up. You don't really, so you can enjoy without having to really know so much, okay? And hopefully I'm doing that so far, all right? So the treatment sessions basically is just my way of expanding upon traditional ASMR. Let's have some fun with it. Let's include some little horror elements, you know, some humor, just make it absurd, all right? So normally when you watch one of these videos, just think about you're in some kind of like a dental chair or a doctor's office exam chair, you know, one of those cushiony, comfortable type of chairs. You're kind of relaxed, but you're kind of strapped in these chairs so you can't just move free. And then what happens is, as what's called the harvest, Professor Clemens, Corvus, or whoever is doing the treatment session, is not only trying to help you relax, but trying to trigger the ASMR. And that feeling, that tingling sensation, well, I've incorporated that into the universe so that when you experience that feeling in the video, or just for pretend, Professor Clemens, Corvus, etc., they're trying to extract that feeling, which is actually like energy, like a sensation. So the professor has found a way to do that. So when you're in this treatment chair, you're hooked up, there's a head strap, and there's some cords coming out of that back into the rear wall of the room, which goes out into some machinery, basically extracting the tingles and turning it into energy, and also helps to feed Arkham Sanitarium, the creature, okay? So there's that kind of horror aspect going on. But it's not draining you of your life essence or turning you into a vampire or anything like that. So it's not really sadistic too much, okay? Even though they sometimes do exchange your body parts without your permission, give you some wings, some, claws and scorpion tail, things like that, all right? So, and all that, when I talk about all that, it's just a way for me to incorporate all the different types of fictional things that I'm a fan of, whether it's a video game or a movie, and incorporate them into the Riftverse, if you will. So that's what's happening at Arkham Sanitarium during one of these treatment sessions. Not only trying to help you really fall asleep and relax in reality as you watch the video. But in terms of what's going on in the fictional universe, trying to extract that energy from you for, to keep the place running, to feed the Arkham Sanitarium creature itself, and all that. Now, one thing about Arkham Sanitarium I do want to mention, and to maybe clear up some confusion between Arkham Sanitarium and DC Comics Arkham Asylum. The word Arkham in both instances was derived from H.P. Lovecraft's writing. DC Comics, they took the Arkham and made it into Arkham Asylum, that houses all the criminals like the Joker and the Riddler, etc. So that's Arkham Asylum. It exists in the DC universe. Then there's just Arkham Sanitarium, which H.P. Lovecraft mentioned like once, didn't really write too much about it. That just exists somewhere within H.P. Lovecraft's own little universe and in the town of Arkham. And what I have borrowed, and I've created my own, place where all my characters reside in, of course. So I just wanted to differentiate the two in case you might have heard of Arkham Asylum and all the DC characters. And it's a little different between Arkham Sanitarium and Arkham Asylum. My Arkham Sanitarium is not just a place where all the DC characters reside. So just in case you're unfamiliar with H.P. Lovecraft's writing, and maybe you're more familiar with the DC Comics Arkham Asylum. Now, another aspect that I play with here on the channel and in some of these videos is the real-world theories of multiple universes, parallel universes, etc. Sure, you might have heard of this or seen it maybe in some movies, maybe read about it in some books, but it's nothing new, and it's been written about and played with by different folks. So I toy with that as well, and it allows me the ability to take a character and maybe do something one way with them or say some things, and then maybe in another video they act and behave differently, things like that. Incorporate different real-world fictional characters written by other people into the universe. So when things might not make sense from one video to another, it somewhat covers up my own mistakes or errors in continuity, so to speak. Like I said, there's no real story going on from video to video, right? It's just more of an underlying theme, okay? But sometimes I make my own mistakes, and I'll forget, oh, I said this, and now I'm saying this, right? So I say, okay, well, now it's a parallel universe. Now there's multiple universes. So maybe when that character said that was in one different timeline, one different universe, and now it's, behaving or acting this way because it's a different timeline and universe. So there's that. It's both of a way to cover up, any mistakes, that I do, but yet also a way to incorporate those theories, into the video and have some fun with that as well. Now, to talk about how Arkham Sanitarium came to be, the running thought is that Professor Clemens and Corvus Clemens are brothers. Now, there are two types of thought in that regard. They are biological brothers from the same, mother, or they are brothers in the terms that they joined same kind of cult. So you can, again, that's another just ambiguous way of leaving it up to you to decide. Even though I've mentioned both of them in some videos, multiple universe, parallel universe, leave it up to you to decide. But the Arkham Sanitarium, as far as my little universe is concerned, was established back in the Middle Ages. Something happened. It may have been established by Professor Clemens and Corvus. Don't really know. But it existed for a long time. It burnt down. They came over here to the United States, reestablished it. Professor Clemens is, the head. His brother Corvus, they're kind of partners, but they don't really see eye to eye. And so here we are. And at some point in time, one of the timelines goes that Professor Clemens opens a rift, brings all the horrible elder gods to the earth, and there's a 1,000-year war, and that's how the apocalypse starts. And that Arkham Sanitarium still exists in this apocalyptic period. But there's also a timeline when that didn't happen, or maybe before that happened, where Arkham Sanitarium exists almost in our own reality, so to speak. Now, there's also the dystopian world where the Candyman resides in, where it's been alluded to where it's post-apocalyptic, but it's also a place where the governments still exist and they try to enslave the world. They've banned everything. That's pretty much where it is now. So the Candyman and the Snack Man and the Everything Man and almost any kind of man that you can think of, all derived from the Candyman, the original character I created, trying to sell people what's been banned by the governments. So there's that theme as well as far as the post-apocalyptic and dystopian. So when you're watching these videos, you could just think about you're watching it as maybe it's during the post-apocalyptic time, or maybe it's not, it's before then, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's however you want to enjoy it. I mean, you don't have to think about any of this stuff if you don't want. Just put the video on and just fall asleep to the sounds. I don't care. That's fine with me. All right. But I just wanted to go over that theme as well, the post-apocalyptic, because I'm a huge fan of the post-apocalyptic stuff. Mad Max and Road Warrior and some of the video games and The Road, the book. So I love that stuff as well. So that's incorporated into some of the videos too. Now, just to talk about a couple of characters, Professor Clemens, he was the first character ever created. And I want to get into a little bit about the history of all of this and my channel at the end of this video. But Professor Clemens is, in some instances, there is thought, or it's even actually said, that he is Nyarlathotep, one of H.P. Lovecraft's fictional characters. Nyarlathotep, I think, is a god or an elder god. He has come to Earth based on H.P. Lovecraft's writings. Came to Earth, took on the form of a pharaoh, and is very obsessed with technology. And I think wants to take over the world, destroy the world. I don't really know. I'm not a huge fanatic of H.P. Lovecraft's writings to where I obsess over and I have all this knowledge, okay, about everything. But Professor Clemens is Nyarlathotep or has been, and whoever the real Professor Clemens is, there was a real Professor Clemens, but he is now just a shell of who he was, and he is a resident of Arkham Sanitarium. And then Corvus Clemens possibly was human at one point, maybe never was, don't really know, but always wears the mask. If you take the mask off, I don't really know what's under there. So that little more ambiguity. It might make you go insane if you were to look at him under his mask. Kind of like if you were to lift up Margaret's mask, you might go insane if you were to see what's truly under there. Margaret, speaking of her, she was a real woman, I guess depending upon the timeline we're talking about and the universe, the parallel universe, right? But Margaret was married to Professor Clemens, about to have a child, went on an expedition. She got killed somehow, and then Professor Clemens reanimates her, and that's the Margaret that you see in most of my videos. She has the mask on. She was a fan of the arts, which is one of the reasons that she has a mask. Maybe it's also to cover her face. Maybe she's a ghost. Who knows? It's very ambiguous, like I said, and you can think about it however you like. Leave it up to you. But the general synopsis is that she was married. She got killed in a tragic accident. She was reanimated by Professor Clemens, again, borrowing the reanimation theme from H.P. Lovecraft's work. And now here she is, and she just wants to help you relax. She has a garden. No, really, she does have a garden where she will bury you. And the soil She gets soil from all different places, fictional worlds. I'm not sure if you've seen Buried in Margaret's Garden, but that will give you an idea. And it helps you rejuvenate, relax, and also in the garden she grows body parts, brains, even vegetables that talk and things like that. So again, just more of a way to have fun with the idea of having a garden and of course, Margaret's garden. Now, there are some other groups like the Tinfoil Hat Society and the Cardboard Confederation and maybe some other groups I think that I might have lost track of over the years. They somewhat operate outside the sanitarium, but they also operate inside the sanitarium. So there is some of that. It can get a little convoluted, but the Tinfoil Hat Society, like I said, I don't want to go into break down all these different characters and groups and things so much in this video. But just for an example, Tinfoil Hat Society, that's just really my way of having some fun with all these conspiracy theories and stuff that exist in the real world. But now I've kind of tied them in and made a little fun and somewhat incorporated it into the Riftverse. So there are some of those groups and different characters that are somewhat tied in as well. Now, one of the aspects of this so-called universe I've created here is how I will bring in characters from pop culture, whether it's Michael Myers or aliens from the Alien movies, whatever it might be, and tie them into the universe. Sometimes I'll do just a separate video on one of those characters from a video game, and it might not be tied in to the universe at all. I think I've done that on some occasions. But I do like to have fun and somehow get them tied in to the Riftverse or to Arkham Sanitarium in some way. I'll drop a reference to Arkham Sanitarium, or I'll mention Corvus or something like that. And the reason that I do that is it just gives me the freedom to do these different characters and incorporate them into the Arkham Sanitarium just to make things more fun and interesting, that somehow Michael Myers has ended up at Arkham Sanitarium or something like that. So it's just a fun way of taking these fictional fantasy characters that other people have written about and tie them in and bring them into my own little fictional universe and to have fun with. So I hope that has helped to give you a really basic understanding of what's going on in a lot of the videos and with the Riftverse and the so-called universe that I've created here on my channel. Again, not the best way to go about it. I should be writing a book, or I should have written books, but let me take the time now to explain why I'm here, how all this came to be, and why I'm not writing a book. So ideally, yeah, this stuff should be in a book, but I'm not a writer. If I was a writer, I would be a published author by now, and I wouldn't be on YouTube at all. But that's not me. The choices I've made in life, the paths that I've taken, had led me here. And this is where I'm at. I'm not a writer. I'm not an author. Will I be one day? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't have the drive or patience to sit down and write. Too many things. Maybe I have ADHD. I don't really know. There's too many things in life that I want to enjoy, and it's really hard for me just to sit down and just think about wanting to write a book. I don't know. I just don't have that in me. Now, how all this came to be, the Riftverse and Arkham Sanitarium and all this, when I started this channel, none of this was planned. I started my channel in September 2011 as a means for me to find my creative outlet. I was always looking to do something creative with myself. I thought about, maybe, I'll be in a band one day, maybe stand-up comedy or acting, but I don't know how to get into any of that. And I don't really have some social anxiety in that regard, or I did back then when I used to think about that stuff. Well, I like to dabble in playing guitar. I taught myself how to play a few chords on a guitar, and I tried creating electronic music, and I've tried, dabbling in poetry. And so I just never really found the thing. Then I started the channel before ASMR was a thing, really. And I experienced ASMR all my life, but I don't anymore because it just kind of faded as you get older and less emotionally volatile. It seems that the ASMR kind of dwindles in that aspect. I've kind of mellowed out. And, growing up and all throughout my life, I've been a fan of, horror movies, science fiction movies, different TV shows, comedy, just everything that people have created, I've consumed. I love it all. I really do. Well, most all of it. There are some things that I'm not too much of a big fan of compared to other things, just like anybody else, just like you. I have a lot of different interests. So I started the channel, started doing some, videos, time-lapse photography of clouds, and then someone found one of my videos, the nature and the flute, one of my earliest videos, and they talked about ASMR, mentioned ASMR to me, and that's when I found out about it. And from there, the rest is history. And I just, at some point, created Professor Clemens back in 2012, I think it was, as a way to do ASMR, but to kind of be a little bit more creative and start to maybe tell a little story a little bit. Again, not the best medium to do it, but I have dreams of being a director or a writer, and those dreams will probably never come true, sadly. So, and that's, it really just kind of snowballed from there, and that's where we are today. And I just enjoy creating the videos, even though I don't experience ASMR anymore. I still like creating them because I know that folks like you still enjoy ASMR, or maybe you don't. I don't really know. But this is kind of my thing now, unless my path in the future leads me elsewhere. I don't know. But this is where I'm at, and this is the type of videos that I enjoy, although I don't do them all the time. Ideally, Arkham Sanitarium should probably be its own separate channel, and again, maybe short form videos, multiple characters, better production, but I'm a one-man band. I have a wife, we have a son, I'm operating out of, our house. I don't have access to a production studio. I don't make that kind of money. If I did, or all that, I would probably be making movies and not be on YouTube. So that's it. So none of this was planned, and it's just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I don't script anything. It's all in my head. None of it's written down. Sometimes I will write some points or things I want to say and keep it on a piece of paper next to me. But that's maybe like 5% of the videos that I do. And I just kind of run with it. And really, I'm really just here to help you relax and make you fall asleep, make you laugh, incorporate a lot of the different types of things in movies and sitcoms here into my videos, even though it may not be the best format, but it's what I do, it's what I enjoy, and some folks seem to like them. So there we have it. Who knows where we're going to go from here? Hopefully I'll be able to continue to have some fun and expand the universe, maybe introduce some new characters or what have you. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was short enough, and hopefully this, more importantly, hopefully this gave you a basic idea of what's going on with all the different videos, and that you don't have to really know, too much. There's not really too much story per se that's going on, more of a theme, and help you enjoy a little bit and give you an idea of what's going on. And maybe someday I'll, flesh things out more or something. I don't know. Who knows? Don't count on it. All right. Thanks again, and appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for more videos, and hope to see another video real soon. Take care, and bye-bye.